Thomas Alva Edison, 1847 to 1931, was one of America's greatest scientists and inventors. He is often called the Wizard of Menlo Park. Edison became world-famous for his inventions such as the electric light bulb, the phonograph, the gramophone, and motion pictures. He held over 1,000 patents in his name. His work in science and technology shaped the modern world, and many of today's advancements are built upon his discoveries. From childhood, Edison was curious and hardworking. Despite suffering from hearing problems, he never gave up. He strongly believed that genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. This means that success requires a little imagination but a great deal of hard work. Thomas Alva Edison was born on February 11, 1847, in the small town of Milan, Ohio, USA. His father, Samuel Ogden Edison Jr., was a modest businessman with independent political views, while his mother, Nancy Matthews Edison, was a former schoolteacher. Edison was the youngest of 7 siblings. His family was not wealthy, but they lived a decent life. His father encouraged free thinking, while his mother shaped his moral values and laid the foundation of his education. From a young age, Edison was not like other children. His curious eyes, eagerness to dismantle objects, and relentless desire to understand how things worked were visible early on. Though it often caused trouble at home, this curiosity became the greatest strength of his life. Edison's childhood was filled with challenges. He spoke very little and could not form full sentences until the age of 4. Neighbors and relatives often thought he might be slow-minded. Health-wise, Edison was weak. He suffered from scarlet fever and recurrent ear infections that damaged his hearing. As a result, he became partially deaf and remained so for the rest of his life. Instead of allowing this disability to break him, Edison considered it a blessing. According to him, reduced hearing kept him away from distractions and allowed him to focus completely on his experiments. Formal schooling was not a success for Edison. At the age of 5, he was sent to school, but teachers found him inattentive and labeled him addled, slow. After just 3 months, his mother withdrew him from school and decided to teach him at home. Nancy Edison, being a former teacher, recognized her son's hidden potential. She encouraged him to read widely and explore on his own. Edison devoured books on science, chemistry, electricity, and biographies of great scientists like Newton and Faraday. At a very young age, he set up a mini laboratory in the basement of his house. Thus, Edison's education was largely self-directed. He became what we call a self-taught genius. Edison was not very social during childhood. He had few friends because he preferred spending time conducting experiments rather than playing. Those who did come near him were astonished by his unusual hobbies. In his youth, this curiosity deepened. He would dismantle toys, machines, and tools to understand their mechanisms. He collected discarded equipment and turned them into parts of his experiments. Often his experiments led to small accidents. Once, he filled the basement with so much smoke that neighbors thought the house was on fire. While others scolded him, his mother guided him patiently and encouraged his passion. At the age of 12, Edison began working to support himself. He sold newspapers and candies on trains. Soon, he started his own newspaper called the Grand Trunk Herald, which he printed inside a train compartment. It became the first newspaper published on a moving train. He also converted one railway boxcar into a mini chemical laboratory, where he conducted experiments during travel. Once, a chemical spill caused a fire, and he was thrown off the train. Later, Edison found work as a telegraph operator. This job transformed his life. The telegraph exposed him to the world of communication and electricity. He spent countless nights improving telegraph machines and experimenting with electrical circuits. Edison's personal life was as eventful as his career. He married Mary Stilwell on December 25, 1871, when he was 24 and she was only 16. They had 3 children. 1. Marion Edison. 2. Thomas Alva Edison Jr. 3. William Leslie Edison. Unfortunately, Mary's health declined, and she passed away in 1884. 2 years later, Edison remarried. In 1886, he married Mina Miller, a well-educated and cultured woman. With Mina, he had 3 more children. 1. Madeline Edison. 2. Charles Edison. 3. Theodore Edison. Charles Edison later became the governor of New Jersey. Despite his large family, Edison was often more devoted to his laboratory than to domestic life. The turning point of Edison's career came with the establishment of the Menlo Park Laboratory in 1876. Known as the Invention Factory, this was the world's first research and development center. Here, Edison and his team worked tirelessly on innovations that changed the world. Edison often said, "Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration." His Menlo Park lab became a hub of invention, producing breakthroughs that would transform modern life. Edison received 1,093 patents during his lifetime. Some of his revolutionary inventions include electric light bulb, bringing light into homes and workplaces; phonograph, the first device to record and play back sound; motion picture camera, laying the foundation of the film industry; improved telegraph and telephone, making communication faster and more reliable; electric power distribution system, designing a way to deliver electricity to entire cities. These inventions shaped the modern industrial era and made Edison a household name. Edison's contributions were recognized worldwide. Among his honors: Congressional Gold Medal, 1928, John Scott Medal, decorations from France, Britain, and several other nations, honorary doctorates from multiple universities. People affectionately called him the Wizard of Menlo Park. Even in his old age, Edison never stopped working. His health, however, started to decline. Despite this, he continued to experiment and innovate. On October 18, 1931, Edison passed away at his home in West Orange, New Jersey. His death was mourned across the United States. To honor him, electric lights across the nation were dimmed for a few minutes, paying tribute to the man who had given the world light. Edison was not just a scientist but a symbol of perseverance and innovation. He failed thousands of times before successfully creating the electric bulb. About his failures, he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His life proved that success is built on hard work, determination, and the courage to embrace failure. Today, Edison's legacy lives on in every electric bulb, every recorded sound, and every motion picture. The life of Thomas Alva Edison teaches us that obstacles, limitations, or disabilities cannot stop a determined mind. With curiosity, persistence, and hard work, one can change the world. Edison's contributions form the foundation of the modern technological age, and his story continues to inspire generations.